Hello and welcome to another exciting LEGO build and review. Today I've got the LEGO Star Wars Porg. It's a bird. It's a Porg. They're a bit like puffins. They're made that way so that the island they filmed them on, they wouldn't have to edit out the puffins or birds that are already there. The back has a back view. That's nice. According to this, like a bin, if you step on its tail, its mouth will open. But actually, most animals will do that. Now that I think about it, actually, that's advice, isn't it? If you've got a dog that's like clamped down, I think is it pit bulls that do this? They'll clamp down with their teeth on things. The only way to get them to release is to up the bum. That's a bit of learning for you there, isn't it? Just flopped out like a turd, didn't it? That was nice. Anything else here? It's a very plain box. There's really nothing on it. What's weird is that the Porg is like the only thing, and the rest, like all the background stuff, is just the island. I feel like that's abnormal for LEGO stuff. It's almost like this is part of a different branding. How many bags have we got? I'm going to say 5. And this sticker, this is actually quite annoying. So this is one of those stickers that you get that goes on a little nameplate. It's been bent like in the most annoying of fashion. Not enough to actually damage it, but enough that I suspect the adhesive on the top 5mm of the sticker will come off, leading to it being slightly peeled the whole time. It's almost enough to make me order another sticker. I would presume that if I told LEGO customer support that, they would send me one for free and it would all be fine, because I'm told they're really good about that sort of thing, though you do have to pretend to be a child. Okay, I'm going to make a really dumb proclamation here, and this will be... I've got nothing to compare this to, but I'm pretty sure this is a factor. This book is in the wrong aspect ratio. That is to say that it's too square. LEGO instructions should be longer this way and narrower that way, like a cricket bat. But this one is more square than usual. That's not really a complaint, it's the most odd observation. And it might not even be true, because I'm not basing it on any facts whatsoever. Wow, this actually looks like a weirdly complicated build, considering it's just a lump of bird. Quite looking forward to this, actually. So, yep, join me in a minute once I've finished building this. And at the back here, there's always exciting stuff at the back of this. I see adverts of other LEGO stuff, except it's from... There's a starfighter that I don't recognise. It's black and yellow. Oh, I bet it's from Star Wars Rebels, is what it is. It's got a Resistance Rebels thing on it. Yeah, there's a kind of a skiff thing. I think that's from Solo. Yeah, not the best sets. There's an X-Wing, that's a classic, Sandcrawler. I want to get to the point where they just go back and remake some of their old classic ones. Give me a Super Star Destroyer. That's what I really want. Anything else? Just some minifigs. Kylo Ren. Apparently Kylo Ren has got a Twitter account. I don't know what that is. Yeah. Okay, right. So let's get all this built and then we'll do the review, shall we? Oh look, we're in the extra video now. This is only this is for the true fans, isn't it? It's the one I released for next week that has me just building the damn thing. Which right, okay. Let's get all this out of the way. These look like quite small bags, so take from that what you will. This is what being an adult gets you, doesn't it? It's you realise that setting aside a place for the rubbish early on is a really great idea. This video might not be too enjoyable to watch because I'm making it and my standards are very low, but even lower than normal because I currently have a cold. So we'll be stopping to blow my nose. Well, a lot. And I'm not willing to edit out that horrible noise. Okay. Let's keep going. Also, I appear to have worn a jumper that is the exact same colour as my tablecloth, which is not by design, but I quite like that actually. If my content ever did well, I would proclaim that yes, what I do is I try and blend into the background because the nature of what I'm trying to produce is based solely on the media in front of me, and I want to be as narrow a part of it as possible. In reality, it's an old towel I had and the jumper because it's fucking freezing today. If I open it is literally freezing today. We've had snow. Snow in England is kind of rare and in many ways dangerous. Right, well, these are actually a lot weirder than I realised. They're not a normal piece at all. Is that it? Let's put that down. There. What are these? These red tubes. Not come across these before. I'm sure I'll get used to it soon. Got a big weekend of films planned. As in, I was sat. I can't remember if I was sat in bed or sat on the toilet, but I was doing one of the two, and I was just booking 3 films for the coming weekend: Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I feel that was obvious. I probably didn't need to say that. It's currently Friday, so my strategy is Friday night, I'm going to a late showing of Green Book, which the first time I saw a trailer for it like months ago, and I thought nothing of it. And then I heard lots of good things, like the Oscar noms and all that coming up, and like Green Book kept getting mentioned. I was like, what the hell is Green Book? I couldn't remember what it was at all. And I was at the cinema the other day, and I saw a trailer for this film, and I was like, oh, I remember seeing a trailer for this ages ago. Isn't this out yet? I quite want to see it. Then at the end they said the name of the film is Green Book. I was like, oh, I just completely blanked the first time through what the film was actually called. That's why like it kept coming up in conversation. I just couldn't think what the hell it was. And then also it's like, oh, that's Viggo Mortensen. Oh, he looks terrible. Having just watched Lord of the Rings, a film that came out, what was it, 2002, something like that. Let's say that. So it's a good 15 plus years old. So that was him 15 years ago. He was a Ranger of Gondor, no less. No, he wasn't a Ranger of Gondor at all, was he? He was a Dunedain Ranger and then the King of Gondor, but Faramir, he was a Ranger of Gondor. So I got that tonight, Green Book. Looks fun. And then and I was listening to some Oscar discussion podcasts this morning, post this discussion. And they kept saying like, yeah, Green Book is nominated, but we don't think it'll win just because of all the, what's it called? Not drama, but I suppose drama. What's the word for drama, but negative? Not a hate crime, but less than that. Bloody box of tissues. The box isn't heavy enough. And they're tiny as well. You get one good blow out of them. Like my first wife. Controversy, that's it. There was a lot of controversy apparently around it. I was like, I've heard none of this, don't know what it is. I don't really care, to be honest. It's irrelevant. Okay, is that? Okay, good. So I got that tonight. Quite looking forward to that. Looks like a fun, if enlightening, ride. Next, so that's Friday night. I'm going to like a 8:30 showing of that. So it's like late enough that you won't get any of the old people who don't know how to attend cinema events anymore, and they're like, oh yes, very good, or they're like too loud at parts. It's like, no, you sit there and be relatively quiet. Don't laugh at the jokes that aren't really jokes. That's the theory there. And then, I've done that step, haven't I? I'm on this one now. Saturday night, I'm going to see, can you ever forgive me? Which I think that's what it's called, but I keep forgetting because it feels like way too heavy a title for the sort of film it seems to be, which is, I'm not going to use the word crime caper, but like kind of one of those like white collar crime film, like victimless crime sort of films where it's like someone's doing a crime, they're doing all right, no one's getting hurt. That's the best way I could describe it. A bit like maybe Catch Me If You Can, I suppose. Does anyone get hurt in that, really? It's a good film as well. So I got that tonight, which surprisingly, that got Oscar nominations as well. I was like, from the trailer, I thought, surely that can't. But apparently it has, so should be a good film. Any film that gets an Oscar nomination and doesn't look dreary as fuck, it's a good sign. If it gets an Oscar nomination and it's not to do with drug overdose, racism, sexism, any of the isms, really. Homophobia, if it gets an Oscar nod and it's got nothing to do with that, I'll probably go and watch it. Not because I don't like those sort of films, just because they'll normally be quite depressing. I don't like those sort of films. Right, so that's in there. And then jam this in the top. This is a really complicated first bit. This is going to be a big bird at some point, isn't it? And it's not that big of a thing. That's the weird part of it. You know what? I don't know how long this will go either. I should start a timer now, so I've got a ballpark figure. I don't want to go more than an hour, do I? Maybe half an hour? I don't know. I've set a timer. That will just keep me... I've also got 2 text messages. Yeah, that's not good, is it? So then the third film. Now this is the one that I actually really want to see. It'll probably be the best film of the lot, and it's the one that took the most finagling to watch. It's How to Train Your Dragon 3. Obviously, the first 2 of those are really good. I'm seeing that Sunday night. My thinking being, obviously, it's a kids' film. Now, the ideal thing with a kids' film is to see it when as few children as possible can see it. And my thinking was the latest showing possible on a Sunday night. It's not that late. It's only a 7:40 showing. I'm thinking, because it's Sunday, that's like the least busy time for cinema anyway. It should be okay. And you got to be careful with films like that, because like when they first come out, they'll throw you a bone, the movie theatre. The cinema, they'll give you like 1 or 2 later showings that an adult can sneak into, all right, and then like it will still be on in 2 weeks' time, but the latest showing will be 5 o'clock. I'm not going out to cinema at 5 o'clock. That's ridiculous. And I'll tell you why it's ridiculous, because you can't eat dinner before that, which means I'll be hungry during the film. You ever seen a film hungry? It's rubbish. I gotta move these tissues closer. Oh, the meteor one, that one. By far and away the most visceral episode yet, isn't it, this? So that's my movie plan coming up. I'm looking forward to it. The odds of me actually going and watching all of them is slim. Right, what's going on here? I've made it upside down. But the one I'm most likely to give up on is the Saturday night one. Three in a row is difficult, but night in between's all right. Trouble is, I'm so damn busy during the week that if I miss a weekend, that's it, shot until the next weekend, and suddenly films are just gone. And new films take their place. Did I do all of this page? I feel like I did it in a weird order. Yeah. Right, so this one looks like a penis. I don't know if that's coming across on camera well, but it does look like a penis. So we got that going on. Which also reminds me of my favourite joke from the later series of Community with John Oliver. They They open a map of Greendale onto the table, and John Oliver just goes, "Oh, ha ha, very funny. The campus looks like a penis." You know what? I'm trying to imitate his voice. I'm already English. I probably sound like him to most people anyway. And they all just look at him. It's like, what does your penis look like? It's like, clearly it looks like a collection of buildings. Can we move on? It's just such a funny joke to bring up. Like, it gets no credit, I feel. I'm a simple man. I like dick jokes. I feel most people do. Well, most men do, don't they? Let's be honest. Okay, slip that through there. Good. Okay. And get that on there like a little boot. That'll go nicely. And then jemmy them in. It's a very dense construction, this one. There's a lot going on in this tiny little piece. Is this the head, the neck? What is this? The spine? Okay. Wait, I've missed some bits. No, I haven't. It just doesn't do anything. Okay, well, that's... They know what they're doing, clearly. The first proper, like, Lego-y piece. Set that aside. Actually do some proper Legoing for a change. So, I've got a rather delicate matter to attend to. I've made this wrong. No, I just picked up the wrong piece, that's all. So I got a message on my phone there. I'll read the message out to you, actually. So, would you be able to lend a hand with the lasagna later? Quite innocuous, you might think. Now, here's the thing, right? That message comes from my brother, who's not actually related. He's asking for help with his partner, his girlfriend, mother of his child, mother of my nephew. She has to make a lasagna because she's part of a lasagna club. I know. I don't know either. I questioned this. I was like, so you meet every Friday or once, like the first Friday of the month, and you have lasagna with this group of people? Which seems to be the gist of it. Which, apart from anything else, someone else has to make the lasagna each time. And I'm pretty sure I think it was weekly. Like, it's a weekly Friday lasagna club. Which, apart from anything else, that's kind of a lot of lasagna, isn't it? It's not a massive amount, but it means, like, say there's 5 people in the club. That's pretty respectable for a lasagna club. That means, like, you're having the same lasagna. It's not that versatile a dish. And it's also the sort of dish where, if you make it the traditional Italian way, that's obviously the correct way, isn't it? That's the most correct it can be. But equally, that's probably the worst way you can make it, isn't it? Because the traditional Italian way of making most pasta dishes is too rustic and healthy, really. What you want is the sort of Americanized way of making it, which is like, you know, your cheese and your meat, just fill it in there, as opposed to like pasta, a very small amount of meat, a very light sauce, and just a tiny shaving of parmesan or parmesan on top. Right? Is this all it is? This looks odd. And the thing there, let me set that aside, is that they want me to help make this lasagna. Now, this may surprise you, but I'm actually a pretty good cook. I can do just about anything. My cooking style is of the ready steady cook variety, where, or I suppose maybe more Iron Chef, but I've never watched that to make sure. I won't like pick a recipe and go and make it. Whatever food is available to me, I will turn that into a delicious meal. That's what I tend to do. The survivor man style of cooking, you could call it. Or I think realistically the way most single men learn to cook, isn't it? It's like, whatever you got, I'll make a meal. Eggs and bacon, that's a meal. It's eggs and bacon. So yeah, I'm a pretty good cook, right? That's got to overlap. That goes in the last one. So they want me to go and help make it. Now here's the thing. If I help make it, I won't reasonably be able to eat it. And the one aspect of my cookery that I cannot get around is the fact that I will only ever make food that I myself will eat. I won't make food that I don't like, because how could I know what to make? And I won't make food I won't get to eat. It's selfish, I know, but it's a factor. I don't even personally like making food for other people, if I'm honest. I'll do it if I have to, but really my ideal is making food for just me and me alone. And I'd say, and if anyone else wants leftovers, they can. I've never made a meal for myself that had leftovers, because I eat whatever food is there, I eat no matter what. It's what I'm about. Right, so hang on, this is complicated. This has to go in this slot. Is this a moving part? Well, obviously it's a moving part, but in what way? No, another one of these to seal the deal. Okay, so I've got that. That's how that's meant to be. Yeah, so they want help cooking the lasagna. Now, I already had a message from them yesterday, I think it was, early in the morning, saying, what do I need to make a lasagna? So off the top of my head, I gave them the ingredients. It's actually very easy to make, isn't it? You're not making your own pasta. That's insane. So it's just, lasagna sheets. That's easy. Get them pre-made. Some minced meat. I like beef. I have made it with lamb before, though. That's actually very nice, minced lamb. Some minced meat, and then an onion. Or basically, if you're cooking something, you want to have an onion in there. That's a good sign. And then from there, realistically, it's like you just need something to make your sauce. You can just buy pre-made sauce, or you can make it yourself. Every time I make it myself, it never comes out as a pre-made jar of sauce. So I should say, buy a jar, why not? But you can make it yourself. It's not too difficult. And you need a cheese sauce as well, which again, I like to make myself, but you can also buy it in a packet. That's perfectly reasonable. I like to add mushrooms. Don't know if that's traditional, but I like having them in there. They pick up all the flavour of everything else. Add a bit of substance, don't they? Big chunks as well, ideally. Right, and then put this snot down in here. And then really, it's a very simple recipe, isn't it? You stick the meat in a good sized pot. You brown it off. I like to season it at that point with salt, pepper, and garlic. I quite like adding just a good amount of garlic in there. Garlic at every stage. Never have enough garlic. That's the key. If you want to use fresh garlic as well, you can, but I feel like you just don't get your money's worth. You chop up fresh garlic, and your hands smell like garlic, and it just doesn't get into the food that well. And chuck your onion in with that. Let that cook away. Once that's all browned off to your liking, just tip your sauce on if it's a pot of sauce, or tin of tomatoes, tomato puree, loads of spices, seasoning, what have you. That's easy enough. Leave that to simmer on a low heat for a while. Bung your oven on at this point. Make a cheese sauce, however you're going to do it. It's actually really easy just to make your own cheese sauce. Just get water. Oh no, not water. Half a pint of milk, something like that, in a saucepan. So your saucepan is about, I'd say 1/3 full. That's a good amount. Glob of butter in there. Let it melt. Add your cheese in. I'll add a bit of smoked paprika to it because it gives it a better colour, and also probably a bit of garlic in there as well. Maybe some pepper. No salt though. You're done adding salt at this point. Everything else is going to have salt in it anyway. So this attaches onto this now. at this end. And this has to face... This is weirdly confusing to look at. Yeah, so like that. Okay. That didn't even go on. Yeah, so the cheese sauce. What I do is I don't want that milk to boil. I want it hot but not too hot. I add my cheese in, whatever it be. Normally whatever cheese I can find. Quite fond of just cheddar. Just fucking cheddar straight in there. Keep stirring that until it's all melted up good. When it's all basically a liquid, that's when you want to just bamp your heat up. If you let it boil though, you ruin it. That's the key. You can't get it too hot. And then just add flour to thicken it to whatever consistency you want. Since it's going on the lasagna and it's going to cook again anyway, you can probably have it quite runny. That's fine. Key is you got to keep stirring it with a good whisk. I like a whisk for that, a metal whisk ideally. And then you got those two parts made. Get a good sized pan, a nice, what's it called? Nice ceramic pot will do you a nice thing. Right, hang on. So this attaches now to this. The diagram here just goes insane. This brown one has to go through this hole. That's the key. That's the Rosetta Stone. Once you get that in the right place, it's not too difficult. But okay, there we go. And now this single piece holds it all together. Yeah, so then it's all about layering it. Now there's many different ways to layer it. I like to go pasta, meat, pasta, cheese sauce, meat again, final layer of pasta, and then the rest of your cheese sauce. And then just to add up a bit, chuck a layer of grated cheese on top. That gives you a nice crusty layer of cheese on top. That's what you want, isn't it? That's the best bit. And also interlace that with some herbs if you can, just some good mixed herbs, some basil, that sort of thing. Just adds a nice look to it and gives it a good smell. That's what you really want there. And just bung it in the oven for, I don't know, 40 minutes, an hour, something like that. Just make sure it doesn't burn, really. It's actually a really easy meal to make, I'm of the opinion. Of course, the way I make it is you know, it's probably not right. Oh, I'm making something new now. That's why I started with this and I was looking at that. I was like, this isn't right. That's my sort of standard lasagna recipe. Now again, you may have noticed that recipe, it had no amounts of anything in it because I don't ever weigh anything or measure anything. Normally, you start with a set amount. Like when you buy like your minced meat, that might come in like 500 gram packages, and that's what you work with. That's what you tune everything else to. That is my general cooking style. Whatever ingredient I have that's the most important, that's the amount I'll make. It's can be quite disastrous. Now the dilemma, right, is if I go and help them make it, I will basically have to make it for them, honestly. It will be one of those. My nephew, who's 3, nearly. He's 3 in a couple of weeks. He'll be running around, running amok. That'll be quite annoying. He's at a very annoying age. You know, he's a child, after all. So I'll have to deal with that. And realistically, I will end up making the whole damn thing. And I know this. And I don't mind, that's fine, if I got to eat it, but I probably won't. Now, I know what you're thinking. I could easily bargain my way into, well, you know, you give me a portion or whatever and I go about my day. But I've already got a plan. I'm going to the cinema tonight. Blew out my ear with that one. Yeah, I'm heading to the cinema tonight, so that's, you know, McDonald's before cinema, into cinema, rest of the milkshake on the way home. That's my evening plan. I don't want to ruin that. There's a Big Mac with bacon going on now. I need to investigate that, see if it's blasphemy or not. Maybe it's better. They know their stuff. Maybe it's overpriced, 40p for one bit of bacon. I don't know. I don't know if that's the case. Okay. Or I could stick around for this so-called lasagna club and have to deal with the sort of mothers that attend that. That's not mothers as in motherfuckers, it's literal mothers. I assume that's how they know each other. Or I actually assume that it's a joke and it's not really a lasagna club, in the same way that like you have a book club where no one actually reads the book, it's just an excuse to get together and drink wine. Did I skip a whole page or did I just do it without really noticing? I think I'm making the same thing as I just made anyway, so it should be relatively easy. That in the middle. That way. Slides on there. This is weirdly complicated. I don't know why it's getting the better of me the way it is. And the other slight issue, right, with the lasagna dilemma is that my sister-in-law, as I'll refer to her, as it's just easier. Oh, another penis piece, he says with an alarming amount of glee. She's kind of a fussy eater, which is fine. It's a bit annoying, but she's that sort of fussy where like, oh, do you like onions? No, I don't like onions. You ever had onions? No. Imagine they don't like them. It's that sort of fussy, you know. And I refuse to curtail my cooking to that because, you know, I live by a certain code. All right, so, oh wait, now I'm adding this to this. Oh, it's like this, just the other half. That makes sense. So balls this way, and it connects through well, it connects at about 8 different points, actually. It's quite easy. If you've got it wrong, you've got it really wrong. I hope I haven't got it wrong. Oh, that's getting... aha! This is the... I think this is the tail that you step on. Which makes me think it's going to be about this tool. Our little Porg. It's all grown up. I'll just stab this through the neck assembly. Has to go through the elbow joint there. Did I get that right? Possibly. Is that still going to move? Yep. Okay, there we go. It's locked it in. I love these little mechanisms they build into this. It's so clever, so complicated. All right. So I watched a film the other night, which was so many realms better than it had any right to be. It should have been like awful. It should have been just a terrible, unforgettable experience. Forgettable experience. But it wasn't. It was one of the most endearing, unspoken of films with rich humour that I feel has gone totally under the radar and it is a travesty. I watched Teen Titans Go to the Movies, which anyone who has seen that film will know exactly what I'm talking about. And anyone who hasn't seen that film, if you haven't heard of it, you're probably thinking, he saw the film version, which is surely just a shitty cash grab, of that Teen Titans Go TV series that everyone hates because it replaced Teen Titans, which everyone loved, which I never liked. It's just... Or you wait. That's if you haven't heard of it. Why isn't this working suddenly? Oh no, it is. I was pushing it entirely the wrong way. So this now attaches. I haven't finished building it, but when I've finished building it, it will attach to somewhere. I need to get a better look at a Porg because I'm looking at this and I have no idea what part of a Porg this is. Okay, this brick in here should be rotated. And it's not. And that's very alarming. I feel I've attached something wrong. I will now be thinking about that greatly. There's no easy way of separating this. I think it's just, I just have to push it a bit. What's holding this? No, is it all upside down? Or is it actually just fine? Maybe it's just fine. How does this? Oh, this is bad. It's flaring up my nose. Oh, that was grim. Right, let's get back to this debate. So that's, I might have to just take it all out. I knew I'd messed this up earlier on, but I didn't want to think about it. Actually, I've got a piece missing anyway, so I definitely need to take it apart. This was actually a lot easier than I thought. It's not held in that much. I've lied, it is, damn it. If I push this through though, all should be, not well, but better. Yeah, so I watched Teen Titans Go to the Movies. It's really funny. It's like it's a genuinely good film. It's very funny. It's got a couple of good songs in it. It's witty, is what it is. Okay, right, now I may have made an error in that I've forgotten how this should be. Right, so I should be seeing this dot, but I can't. Why is it so wrong? I've got to go back. Oh, to this exact page. Right, fuck it, let's take this off as well. There we go. Right, so I'm looking at this. Where does it attach? Here. I reckon I made a mistake when I first built the damn thing. Oh, that's why it's not coming off. Ah, right, fine. Fuck it. I can rebuild. It's okay. All right. So here's how it should have gone on. So that's hanging through there. That's fine. That's also fine. I reckon I had it positioned like an inch out of place when I first started, and that's the issue. At least I really hope that's the case. And now I'm putting in the piece that should be in here that I didn't put in. Okay, right. So it should look like this. And there and now. Would you go to, hello, I'm using, I can't help you with your lasagna right now. I'm very busy. I'm building a Porg. Right, now, this bit came off. So did this and this. This was last, this was here, right. Okay, so that looks like that, and this went in to the third hole. No, in the middle. Okay, right, so that's how that's meant to be. And let's put the cap on this. Okay, just throw it away. Alright, that's in there. And is this right? Yeah, okay, yeah, this is looking better this time. Oh, I've just had a message saying, if you help, there's a treat. The bribery has intensified. The thing is, I probably will help, but I've never said that I will. And I just need to finish doing this, really. I need to get this brown piece in before I do anything else. I think. This is such a risky thing I'm doing here. If I'd have just cleared off this workspace as well, so if any bits came out, I'd have seen them as well. That would have made things much simpler. So it goes in the top bollock, through this cross. There we are. And then this bit attaches on here. Like this. Okay, good, good. Right. So that's still moving. The bollocks are threaded. That's made. Okay, yep, that's fine. I think this is all okay now. So we get back to where we were, which is putting this bit on. So now it should just, no, I still don't know how this goes on. It should just go on like that, but it doesn't seem to have anything to attach to. There's just not enough movement in this section. I can't. I'm busy. How do I make this happen? I might have to take this apart again, because so this has to go in here. There's just no room though. Right. Let's push this back through. Gently but firmly. Grab that. Right. If I attach it all now, because it's supposed to attach like that, then there's literally no room for where they want this thing to go. It can't spin. It just rips itself off if it turns. I must be missing something. See, that's how it should. What's the next page? Unhelpful. Very unhelpful. But that's how it's meant to attach. What bit even is this? I can't remember what a Porg looks like. The only thing I've got to go by is the tiny Porgs that I've made with another set. Why did I make tiny Porgs? Was it for the other Millennium Falcon I've got? I think so, yeah. It was the Last Jedi one, wasn't it? Right, where? So this, I must be getting something wrong. Let's look at all the connections here. It goes through, definitely goes through the top bollock joint there. Maybe it'll just work this time. I mean, there's a very slim space. It might work. Well, okay, now. Well, it's there. I don't know how you could possibly got that in place if you did it in their order. That was mind-numbing. All right, and let's just add 7 of these little bastards. And they go. Yeah, the funny thing is, right, my brother actually asked me for help once with how to make a lasagna years ago. And I showed him how. I talked him through everything. And like, I only need to be shown something like that once and I'll just know forever. If I do a recipe, I'll do a recipe once from a book and then I'll just know, right? And for some reason, he can't do that. Why doesn't he have that ability? That photo memory for cooking. Okay, right, that's 7 of those added. And now I need to add a further 10. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Not entirely sure where though. Oh, down here. I think basically you're supposed to add these studs to every single hole. 3, 4, 5. They should really number them, to be honest, because it's a bit spot the difference even looking at the damn things. Although I did read somewhere that would spot the difference if you put them side by side and then you cross your eyes, like that's a trick you can do and get the answer. Now add a further 7. 4, 5, 6, 7. And these go... You know what? This whole page is actually just adding 32 of these little studs. I've realised the next step is add another 8 as well. They might as well have just highlighted the ones not to fill in, and then literally all the rest can be. That's alarming. I'm looking at it the wrong way, that's why. Shit. Now the phone's ringing. Who's ringing a landline? It's 2019. What are they expecting? Me to answer? That's sure as hell not going to happen. You never answer the phone. That's rule 1. Rule 2 is wonder why they've turned off your phone lines. Right. So I'm hoping that errant stud I put in... Oh, shit. Oh. No, I skipped a page is what happened. I skipped to the next step. So I have got to still keep putting these in. Christ. This is oddly satisfying, but at the same time annoying, because there's like 2 holes on each side you got to leave empty. I might have missed one. 4 on that. Wait. 4, yep. Yeah, that's all fine. 2 on... No, wait, none on that side? None on that side, and then none on that side. And I can't really be asked to read. Oh, damn my illiteracy. It's fine. It's probably just 1 spare. Oh, we're making some feet next. 2 of them, in fact. Let's make them both at once. We have the cognitive capacity for this, I'm sure. This is going to be an error, isn't it? Ah, orange. That really nice colour you get to use every now and again. Treasure it, for it isn't grey. Yeah, that's my advice anyways, is go and watch Teen Titans Go. To circle back on that point. It's a really good film. And there's actually a teaser at the end that they might bring back the older Teen Titans cartoon, which I never particularly liked, but I think that was because I didn't like it. No, I genuinely didn't like it. I thought it was just always a bit too sort of samey. Best example I could give is, well, the Beast Boy can turn into any animal. He turns into an ape and a tiger, and I feel like an octopus a lot, and maybe a bird. Does he ever really turn into much else? Like, he just, you know, it's lazy is what it was. And realistically, you're throwing that up against, like, you know, Justice League. It's just not as good, is it? I'm now going to stop making both at once because it's confusing my small mind. Put them aside. Which way do these go? That way. Oh, God, this is a surprisingly complicated build. I should have looked at the age rating, shouldn't I? And then is this a toe? Goes on this side, that way out, clips on. They've got quite big feet, is what I'm gathering here. Quite big feet. And then one of these. Surprisingly vicious as well. Let me guess. A 3rd foot. Yeah, you know it. Mirrored? Yep. And then put it this way. And that clips on there. Okay, that's quite nice. I quite like that. And it jabs in the bottom here, I'm guessing. Behold the now relative size of the feet of this thing. Okay, it can't stand up with just 1 foot. I won't begrudge them that. That's fairly sensible, isn't it? I probably could make this without going back, but I don't want to risk it. I've been burned too many times before trying to do that. There we are. Saw Vice the other day. I went in purely because I knew basically nothing about it. I hadn't seen any trailers. I'd seen pictures of Christian Bale looking, well, like Dick Cheney, honestly. And that was about it, really. And I was like, I love The Big Short. I thought that was a great film. I'll probably like this then, by that logic. It's a good mix of like documentary and drama with a bit of humour thrown in there, and it's all pretty easy to follow. It's the exact sort of film that's quite good to watch to make you feel informed about a subject without having to do too much work. It's good, you know. It's ideal for something that you don't need to worry about too much. The politics of another nation, for example. Oh Christ, I broke his toe. And boom, 2 feet. There we are. Okay, I mean, he's a little bit off balance, but he doesn't have anything other than his feet and possibly part of his face. I'm thinking this is quite short. I don't know why, the box made it feel like it'd be taller. How's time going? Well, I'll try and get another bag done. I might make this like a 2-part mega build job. It's another week of content, isn't it? It is 6 bags, so if I do two bags an episode, that kind of works, doesn't it? It's an ambitious time length, but I think I can manage. If I ain't got so confused and had to break the whole thing down to give it like a face, that, you know, wouldn't have taken so damn long. Yeah, so Vice. It's funny, like, you asked me who Dick Cheney is, I just said, yeah, he was the vice president with Bush. And really, that is all I knew about him. And like, for the coverage of this film, I saw like interviews of Adam McKay going like, yeah, when you ask people what do they know about Dick Cheney, is like, he was the vice president and he shot that guy. Like, that's the two, like, he shot a guy on a hunting trip or something. That's like basically all anyone knows about him, which is very funny, really, in a horrifying sort of a way. So I was like, oh, actually, yeah, good point. I would like to know more. And Christ, this is an interesting film. Just the back and forth, and it's weird because coming at it from an outside point of view, I had no real opinion on any of it, particularly the politics of the time, because I was too young to really care. Had much of an effect on me, particularly one way or the other. Also helped that I lived in an entirely different country and had no military family who died in a pointless war. Wait, no. I caved in. That was my brother knocking at the door in need of tremendous aid with his lasagna. Benefit of making this a multi-part video is the next time I record I might not have this annoying cold. I'm not even ill, I'm not unwell in any way. I can do literally anything, but I've got a runny nose and it's so annoying. It's the most mildly debilitating an illness can be, I feel. I have an option though. I could have a blocked nose instead. If I merely sit with my head back for long enough, it will block up and be all stuffy and I can't breathe, which is worse, honestly, much worse. So live with what I got. I can breathe deep enough. Put that on. Yeah. So in the little bit I just cut out there, I will now be going and aiding in the great lasagna party. Did I just skip a step, or did I do it without noticing? I think I did it without paying attention. Is what happened there. Oh god, this is so risky. I'm kind of doing this on autopilot, and my autopilot is not reliable in the slightest. That looks about right. This is the sort of Lego building I like to do. Big old chunky pieces of Lego. Can't go wrong. Well, I mean you can, I often do, but it's less likely and it's less costly. Yeah, pop those on. Square in the middle. That first bit was really, what's the words? Fiddly. That's the word, isn't it? Fiddly. Yes, I was talking about Vice, wasn't I? I've skipped a load of steps. Yeah, it's really enjoyable film. It's weird. I assume it's mostly factually based. Maybe it isn't. I didn't think it was presenting too strong an opinion either way. Like it didn't paint him as like some evil dictator or anything. Also, it certainly showed like maybe he's just doing it for the money point of view. He kept having heart attacks, which was quite funny. Yeah. But it's a good film. I thought it was fairly balanced, all things considering. Like, I came out of it having a certain amount of respect for him as a person. Like, yeah, he kind of stood by his daughter briefly when she came out as gay. Not fully, but he didn't disown her. He could have been better, but he could have been worse. Which is, it's about the best you can say about a lot of politicians, isn't he? Yeah, well, he's not the best, but he's the best of what we got. I'm not talking about anyone specific there. I need to move on from politics as fast as possible. I saw Glass. That was a disappointing pile of shit. There we are. So here's the background. I saw Unbreakable years ago, fucking years ago. Let's say 8 years ago, I saw Unbreakable on TV. I missed the start, but I knew that it starts with a man in a train crash surviving, roughly. I don't know how graphic it is, because as I say, I missed the start. I've never seen the start. But I watched a good amount of it. Well, I watched the rest of it from a certain point onwards. I felt like I hadn't missed anything. I was watching it and I quite liked it, but the only thing was, I had the kind of, not the twist of it spoiled for me, but like I knew going in that he was in fact unbreakable. Have I made this right? I have. Oh, it's mirrored is all. So I knew going in what the shtick there was, that he would in fact turn out to be unbreakable. I didn't know that Samuel Jackson was actually like the bad guy, kind of. Well, no, entirely he was. He killed those people and others. So I watched it. I quite liked it. I liked what it was going for, but at the same time, I thought it was so slow. Like, oh my god, slow. It was literally the case of like, if you were reading a comic book, like an origin story for a superhero, like that entire film would probably be condensed down to the first page or the first issue, and then thereafter they would condense it down to a single page. It was just so slow going and weirdly like depressing. But overall I didn't hate it, and I was quite excited to see a sequel. Particularly when it was like, it's a sequel to Unbreakable and to Split, which were in themselves not particularly linked. Now I hadn't seen Split either, because it looked like it might be scary, so I avoided that, and then I missed it at the cinema, and I was like, I don't really care anyway. But I watched this one, fucking. So I went to see Glass, which is it's a very weird film. It's again, it is incredibly slow. It starts off and you're thinking, oh, this is going to be quite pacey. This has got some good punch to it, and then like the film just sort of stalls for about an hour, and it takes seemingly forever for them to introduce the character of Mr. Glass. The name is the film's called Glass, isn't it? Yeah, and he doesn't seem to appear in it until fairly late in the film, and like it's so odd. Like he's in it like so little, and then it's like suddenly he's the main character, and it's sort of all over the place. And the thing is, it's M. Night Shyamalan, right? So it's got to have a twist. He loves throwing a twist in a film, which having a twist is great if you don't see it coming. The trouble is, when you're suddenly a director known for having a twist, though you might not see what the twist is as it's coming, like, you know, you're driving down a road, there's a bend at the end, you don't know if it's right or left. Right or left, if this is mirrored. But the fact that you know it's there means you're somewhat prepared for it, aren't you? You can slow down. You can be prepared. You don't. The direction might take you by surprise, but not its existence, which is the trouble there. And so I was watching it, and there's this character in it who's there's probably gonna be spoilers right now, but a big part of the film is that they essentially, all of them are captured early on in the film. Glass is already captured. The Beast and David, he gets captured and put in a mental asylum for some reason. You're watching it and you're like, well, I get why they put the Beast in there, and Sam Jackson was already in there, that's fine. But why they put David Dunn in there? He's just the guy that beats people up. Like, he doesn't have any mental issues. He thinks he's a superhero, but he essentially is. I mean, the laws he's broken are very clear. He's beat some people up. It's unlikely he'd get convicted of anything because most of the people he beat up turned out to be child rapists and what have you. Okay, so that goes there, and then black and a grey on top. So already that's a bit weird, and it turns out this psychologist who specialises in people who think they're superheroes. She keeps saying this, like, this is her thing. And it's like, oh yeah, I've done years of research. My whole career is built on dealing with people who think they're superheroes. And you are the first 3 people I've ever run into who have this thing. And it's like, hey, you built a career on a thing you thought you might exist, and then suddenly these people exist. And then it turns out she's part of a secret society of some sort that's supposed to quell superheroes, and they all have like a black clover on their hand. And it's like, do you think you're going to get a sequel to this? Fucking hell, we're going to have to wait another 30 years for it? And then it suddenly makes sense why, as like a psychologist, she is incredibly awful at her job. Like, she's talking to David Dunn this whole time. It's like, we've installed these water jets around your room, so if you get uppity, we can blast you with your weakness and you won't break out. But you don't have superpowers. That's what we're trying to prove to you. It's like, if you think he doesn't have superpowers, why don't you give him a metal bar? It's like, bend this. If he can't bend it, he doesn't have super strength. If he can, he does. It's not like rocket science. And at the same time, with Mr. Glass, she's like, yes, you're not a super genius. You're just very, very, very genius. That's why we're drugging you so heavily. It's like, but you don't think but he is. It's like, what? And then the Beast very clearly does turn into a different thing at points. It's like, the whole way through you're thinking, none of this makes any sense. And then at the end, when you have that twist, that it's like, oh no, she's been working against them from the off. She's always known that they were what they are. You're like, all right, so the whole film was made pointless at this point. It's so odd. And then and there's this whole thing at the end of the film where, like, Mr. Glass knew all along. He planned it all along. There's footage now. The footage of them doing their superpower stuff is going to get out into the wild. And I'm watching that and I'm thinking, okay, but like, if you wrote this film 20 years ago, okay, we could kind of buy that. But we see videos like that on the internet all the time, and no one's like, oh God, there's real superheroes. Like, no, it's like, oh, there's a film student with some special effects stuff going on. That's all you see there. It's like, oh shit, look, this guy overpowers 3 riot police at once, and he pushes them slowly back into a container. The super strength on display, and then he bends an iron bar very slowly. It's like, yeah, but this is a shitty CCTV video camera footage of this. I could make that up. I'm not going to, but I could. Have I missed a piece? Oh, no, there it is. I picked it up and left it. So that's there. Now, one of these grey claws. I think these are supposed to be downy feathers, is actually what they are. The sort of kind of claw-like moulded plastic. It's quite satisfying. What isn't satisfying is the number of these damn wedge pieces I have to put on. Because for the life of me, I can't look at them and know what colour they are. There's grey, light grey and black. And the damn book just don't want to do much of a job telling you which is which. Two of them, one dark grey to go here. Here, maybe? Yep. And stick that aside, you're done. Oh, some white. So Glass is a pretty bad film. I got Shyamalan, is what I'd say there. One of those directors, you forget that they basically only really make bad films, but for some reason you keep trusting him. You're like, maybe this one, maybe, you know, he's had probably what, 3 good films? Signs, The Sixth Sense, and Split. Did he do Split? I don't know that he did. I feel like he did, but did he? It would make sense that he did. Although James McAvoy was fucking excellent in this, as he was the only one that got anything to do. It might have been to the detriment of the film, to be honest, because he's so good that he gets so much screen time, it's like no one else does. But because of the nature of his character, even if you give him loads of screen time, it's not like anything happens, because it's still like a minute per mentality, headspace, I don't know. Okay. I think this is a kind of a feather I'm making here. Well, I mean, it's clearly, all of this is just going to be attached to the outside at some point, isn't it? So it's all going to be like feathery material from here on out. I've made an error. Wait, have I made an error? I don't think I have, actually. No. Rescind the error. There was no error. There is no war at the Fire Nation. There is no war in Ba Sing Se. Still haven't managed to rewatch Avatar. It's been on my list for ages. Good thing is, there's no hurry. It's not like they're making more of it. I need to catch up with it or anything. A hollow victory, isn't it? Oh yeah, I was naming the good Shyamalan films. I named those 3, didn't I? Signs, Sixth Sense and Split. And then I feel like there were some other ones that... The Village, I thought when they made that at the time, people were like, yeah, it's pretty good. And then in hindsight, it's like, oh, actually, was it? It did The Happening, didn't he? That's apparently an awful film. Like the trees become sentient and try and kill Mark Wahlberg. Apparently it's almost in the so bad it's good category. Did Avatar, didn't he? There's the link. Did Avatar, the film Avatar, was it called The Last Airbender? Or I can't actually remember, honestly. I've tried to blank it from my mind. That was terrible. I remember hearing that it was terrible. Ooh, good timer. I remember hearing that it was terrible, so I ignored it as a film. And then years later, it was on TV, so I watched it. I remember watching the first half thinking, oh, this isn't so bad. I mean, yeah, there's some odd decisions they've made here, but I can understand that. I can buy that. Fair enough, they made it so firebending needs a source of fire for most firebenders. Like, Yeah, it kind of is. Might be a bit unbalanced. Okay, that's fine. Because actually, if you watch the show, you realise that they do a weird thing with firebending where quite often characters will get hit by fire and like nothing will happen despite the fact that it's fire. You can get hit by water and it'd be a bit disarming, but you get hit by fire, it's like you're probably going to burn at least a bit. Except that one time that Katara gets burnt, and then it almost never happens again. And then you get to the second half of that film and you're like, what in the hell is this? It's almost summed up perfectly by that one scene with the earthbenders where they do like 1,000 complicated movements and like the tiniest rock just floats across the screen. And then you peer closer and you're like, oh, this film is total shit. And then they at the end, he set it up for a sequel. He thought he was going to get a sequel. He thought it was that good. Okay, so I'm nearly done. So nearly done with this tiny section. There we are. Right, okay. Oh, it's the arse. This is kind of the tail flicking up. So just, how does it connect though? What I like about this is it tells you it connects here, but it slides through. Like I say, it gave no actual indication of how in any way. Right, so it slides through there. What does it line up with? This goes about here. There we are. It's quite hard to get it wrong. Is that symbolic in a way? Right, so I just shot this piece off. Oh, it came off of here. I was wondering, I was like, if this one bit came off and the whole thing's symmetrical, it should be easy to see, and yet I couldn't. Okay, there we go. I've reattached its bum. There we are. There we go. There we are. All right. Yeah. Well, I'll make this a couple of parts now, as it's clearly going to be a couple of parts. I'm pretty sure I've messed up though somewhere because there's a lot of these wedges left, and it seems like there could be more detailing. Oh well, I'll figure it out. Probably symmetrical at the very least, isn't it? Is it symmetrical? Right. Is this? Oh no, it's just not. It's not symmetrical. Is actually the answer there. It's what you refer to as asymmetry. So yeah, that go there. That there. Why have I got that there? Should go back here, but it's never going to go in that space. I think I've actually done this incredibly wrong, looking at it. There we are. Okay. Wow, it's amazing how many errors I can make on such a simple thing. Imagine how many are made on a big complicated thing like that. So, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.